Morning. I'm Steve Lentini, and this is my weekly series live on leadership. And today we're talking about finding the gift in chaos and conflict in leadership and not running away from it because that's part of life. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about is in my book, What Reaches You Was Never Meant to Miss You. And that's a way to look at things in life and especially in leadership. And you can apply it at home and at work when challenging moments appear. We can find the gift in it, or we can run away, or we can make drastic changes as a result of the brain, what I call the acorn brain. Here's my trademark. That little thinker will suggest things in the moment, that little voice in our heads. And if we take the automatic thought and we use it to automatically respond in the moment, I would suggest that if you look back, more than 90% of those decisions were not healthy. And I don't want us to define things as good or bad, happy or sad. What the point is in my book is to not judge it. The old Sufi tale is included in the book, one of the versions. Maybe good, maybe bad, who knows, right? And the key in leadership is to learn to find the gift because, in my life anyway, in my experience, the greatest gifts came in the greatest challenges. Not, it's easy to see the happy moments, the moments that the brain judges as good, or the results look good. There still could be challenges, even though the results, especially in public companies, because that's all they look at, is the results. They're looking quarter to quarter, year to year. And sometimes miss the chaos beneath what appears to be happening and seems good because the brain judges good or bad, happy or sad. And it's easy to understand the happy moments. That's easy for the brain. It's much more challenging to find the gift in what's occurring. Why did it reach you? If what reaches you was never meant to miss you, then the key is to sit with it a while and ask the questions. What's the gift in this? What am I supposed to learn? How do I change? What's a new way to go? Possibly it's a redirection, all the chaos and the conflict. And to learn to embrace the chaos and conflict that occurs not only in your life, in the company, start to teach people by, as a leader, asking the questions. Okay, so what's the gift in this? What's the gift in this place we fell? What's the gift in this mistake? So that you start teaching people there's only wins and lessons, not failures. Not failures. To take what occurred and use it as a redirection. Maybe there needs to be better hiring practices if you had a lot of hires that didn't work out. Maybe if results lately have been challenging, is to look at the approach. What do we need to change? What's something new we could do? What is this here to teach us? How can we learn and grow as an organization? And first, the leader has to ask that because many leaders respond with more control, more clamping down, more anger, more sadness, more anxiety, frustration, stress. Those are what David Baer calls primal thoughts, leading to those primal emotions, not powerful thoughts. The powerful thoughts are asking, what in this can we learn? How can we change? What is this moment asking us to address? What's something new we can do? What's a new path? What's something unlike the past? Because the brain loves to be comfortable. And if a leader is enrolled in control and anger and frustration and stress, anxiety, their responses are not going to be healthy because it's primal thinking. Think about that word, primal, back to the cave. And that's where the brain, by the way, has learned, because it's the only time the past is present in DNA. Our responses are actually passed down over the generations until we can retrain our mind. Is to reprogram this little thinker, right, that I call the acorn brain, and to teach everyone in the company to start questioning their thinking, not to react, learn to respond. And that is beginning to see what occurs. Everything is a gift. And when leaders start asking, hey, this is going to be great for us, let's find the gift in this. What is this urging us to change? How can we look at things differently? How can we see things differently? Because that's what life is urging us to do. Life is happening for us, not to us. And when leaders get enrolled in life is happening to me and to us, I'm going to change this in the company, you're missing the gift. But you have to prove that to yourself. Don't take my word for it. Life whacked me with a 2x4 8,621 days ago, November 18th, 2002. 5 days earlier, I needed an ambulance. 1 second, I was fine. The next second, I needed an ambulance. The funny thing is, I was grateful. People were running around in a panic saying, oh, we called the ambulance. Steve, how you doing? Oh, my God, it should be here. I hope they get here. And when they asked me, how are you doing, Steve? I said, I don't know how my body's doing, and I'm grateful. When the EMTs came and asked me the same question, I said, I don't know how my body's doing, and I'm grateful. And you could see by the look of their face was like, oh, my God, this guy needs a shrink and an ER doctor. They were expecting me to be fighting the moment. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Oh, my God, please help me. What's going on? That's what they were expecting. And I'm embarrassed to say I was 50, but I surrendered to the moment. Now, I also sensed a divine presence, that everything was fine no matter what. Whether I lived or died, it didn't matter. More in that, and of course, you can read more about that in all my books, and I do have a weekly reading of my book, You Missed God, on the way to the mosque, the temple, or the church. And then the next series, I'm actually going to read chapter by chapter from the book, What Reaches You Was Never Meant to Miss You. So you don't have to buy the book. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying to sell books. My goal is to share what I learned in my time on the other side and what I learned from embracing life, to surrender to what shows up, especially the most challenging and the most difficult. The most challenging people, the most difficult moments are the greatest gifts. They're a redirection. They're urging you to do something different, and that they're showing you a place you have to learn something new and grow. And leaders, especially, because you're influencing others. And when you resist the primal thoughts and retrain the brain to move into the powerful thoughts, surrender and gratitude. Surrender is not giving up. It's surrendering to what is in the moment. It's here. It reached you. And when you start to teach the company to do the same thing, and start with your executive team so that they begin to pass it to the people that report to them. What's the gift in this? How can we learn and grow? Think about it. Think about the difference between more control, more anger, more frustration, more stress, what that does to everyone in the company. And then the culture is to have that leaders take a pause and teach everyone, hey, there's a gift in this somewhere. Let's ponder that. It begins to populate through the whole company, because now there's a whole new approach to solving challenges. Hey, this is a gift. What can we learn from it? What needs to change? Just think about it. And if you have any questions, you can email me, Steve at Steve Lentini. Here, I'll show you here in my book. Just put a Steve over here, Steve at stevelentini.com. And I'm glad to help. I'll gladly give you free coaching. I want to help people populate this message of embracing what shows up in life. There's so much in the society that people rail against. You can see it everywhere. And to find the gift in it, because if it bothers you terribly, there's a change. Life is asking you to change first. I have a quote that says, if you don't like your experience of the world, change how the world is experiencing you. And another quote that it's attributed to me is, nothing worthwhile in life shows up without becoming uncomfortable, without working through being uncomfortable initially. Nothing worthwhile in life is gained by avoiding what's uncomfortable initially, is the full quote. But you have to prove that to yourself. That's what I tell all my coachees and leaders that I work with. Prove it to yourself, because then you own it. And you're reprogramming your mind, which neuroscience supports today. When I started this 23 years ago, there was no neuroscience urging people to reprogram their minds and to notice. There was very old work going back through almost every century, including back to BC times, which I wrote in my book, Sage Advice. I have quotes going back thousands of years from leaders who were urging people not to believe their brains, not to live as a reaction, not to be a victim of circumstance. Learn that you're the master of circumstance. And that's challenging. All right. Again, any questions? I'm glad to help. You can email me, Steve at stevelentini.com. You can go to stevelentiniauthor.com and see many of my books. Here, I'll show you how to spell it again. I'll use the Sage Advice book. Right, this is the book that has all the quotes. If you just put a Steve here, Steve at Steve Lentini. Let me get my fingers out of the way. Steve at stevelentini.com. I'm glad to help. It's what I do. It's what my goal is in life, is to help more people learn to reprogram their minds and find the gift in everything. It's easy to rail against stuff. You're missing the gift. Thank you.